So if you didn't know this about me, when I was 18, I graduated from high school. I went to Poly High School, okay? So when I was in high school, I was going to college preparatory school at a Cal State university called Cal State Long Beach. I was in a college prep for like 3-4 years where I was staying on campus at Cal State Long Beach for free because it was preparing high school students to get into a university. So they helped me with resources, like they helped me apply to universities when I was in high school. So that's why I got into two universities. I got into Cal State LA and Cal State Dominguez. Okay, so my parents ended up helping me. Like, they didn't want me to go to Cal State LA. I wanted to go to Cal State LA because I wanted to live in LA so bad when I was younger. And then my parents were like, no, you're going to go to Dominguez. It's in Carson. So it was like halfway. So it was like, okay, fine, I'll just go there because my parents said, right? So I got into Dominguez. They helped me out with the application and everything. And I applied as a sole individual. I didn't apply like, oh, I have parents, I live with my parents. Nope, I applied as a independent individual living by myself. So that helped a lot more get into housing there. So I had my own dorm and I didn't share a room. I had my own room and I stayed on campus for the first like semester, which was like 3 or 4 months, 5 months. I think I stayed on campus for like a year. And then I think it was like 3 or 4,000. I don't know how much it was, but it was covered by my financial aid. So I got financial aid, I got grants, and I got other funding. So when you go to college, you can get all of this funding, but you know how you qualify? Your grades. So your high school grades, and then also your application, and then also your current status. Like, are you independent? Are you living with your parents? Stuff like that. And then you have to write a letter. You have to, like, apply yourself. So I got a lot, So basically, I was in college at 19, didn't know what I was doing. I was like, dang, I don't even know what I want to study. But when you get into college, you don't have to know what you want to study right away. You have to just take the basic curriculum when you get in college, right? The first like 2 years. Then the next 2 years, you're supposed to like know what you want to do and then like go after that, right? I still didn't know what I want to do. I was studying different majors. So I had studied psychology, I was studying like all these different classes I was taking, and I paid for all my classes. All those classes cost $1,200 to $1,500 a class, guys. So you can take as many classes as you want, just know you're gonna pay for them. You get what I'm saying? So each class was like 3 months long. You would go like 2 or 3 times a week. You had your professors, you had your office hours, you had like, sit in class. I wasn't really doing online classes. I did a few online classes, but long story short, I have my transcripts so I could see all my classes I took, all the grades, whatever. Long story short, yes, I was on campus a lot because this was an on-campus school. I had met a lot of people. I went to some parties, but I also was affiliated with USC because I had a boyfriend at the time. So my boyfriend was a little older than me. He went to my high school, but he was in college. So I used to go to USC frat parties. So they used to have like frat row, and like there used to be parties. So like me and my friend would go, and like, because I think her family members was on the football team. So like we would go to the parties, and I met my first college boyfriend, yeah, at a party. He ended up coming to like visit me, and then like we ended up like getting close, and then like basically we ended up being together for like 3 years in college. And I was with him all the time. I was always at USC. I was always at his football practices. I used to drive him to his football practices, pick him up. I used to basically live with him. Like, he had his own place all the time. So like I would like live with him basically, and he was in college, I was in college, and like he was at USC and then I was at Dominguez, and it was just like we had something in common, right? So anyways, long story short, yeah, so I didn't have to be alone, so I was with him. So anyways, long story short, I was focused when I was with him. He was pretty grounded. He was an earth sign for the most part, but he was a little bit much to deal with because he was a football player. So he was on scholarship as well. He was on a full ride scholarship to USC, and then he ended up transferring to Colorado Buffs. So we went to Colorado a few times on trips. Yeah, I traveled with him. He used to pay for everything. Anyways, he had an agent and all that good stuff. He made it to like the Chargers playoff team. I went to the Chargers training camp with him and stuff like that. Yeah, I used to be around like NFL people. I know NFL people, it doesn't matter. Long story short, I was in college when we broke up. 3 years. That was the first guy I ever got pregnant by. Didn't want to have kids with him. We just had indifferences at a point, and I was young. I was like 19, 20, 21 when we broke up. And then finally, that was when my parents were like, you can come back, come back home. We'll help you out. You're still in school. So my dad was like, because you're still in college, I'll help you out with housing. He was like, you could live in one of our houses. That was when they started buying houses. They're like, you could live in one of our houses for free because I believe you're in school. So because you're in college, I'll help you out with rent. My dad used to pay my rent for like 5 years, and I used to live in like one of their townhomes because I was in like school, and I kept taking more classes, taking more classes, like, because my dad was like, as long as you're in school, I'll pay, for your housing, so I was paying for everything else though, but he was like, I'll offer like free rent, like I will pay your rent basically because I'm proud of you, so they didn't pay for tuition or none of that. They just helped with like rent here and there, like you could live here, but I used to be like, I'm going with my boyfriend, we'll be with my boyfriend, but then I never depended on my parents like that after that. So they used to help me out with rent, and like my dad had gave me a car when I graduated. We switched cars. Like I gave him my other car and he gave me another car. So basically that's how my parents helped me out, is like with housing, and like let them do that. But then at a certain point we didn't end up moving, me and my sister. We got a place and then we moved back, and then my sister finally moved with her husband. Long story short, I ended up having to move out at a point because I got pregnant like 6 years after that on accident. Didn't have the kid, and then I moved out for like 2 years, and I was on my own again. That was right after I graduated. I ended up graduating. My parents, my sisters, my family came to my graduation, walked the stage and everything. Finally done with school, man. And then pandemic. That was like pandemic time. Okay, so once the pandemic came, I was living by myself. I was out for like 2 years. Once the pandemic came, that changed everything. Like school changed because it was like, like they gave everybody relief for everything because it was like, dang, no one can really do anything. So that helped out from 2020 to 2022-ish, so. But yeah, by this time I moved back with my parents, but then I ended up moving again, and I ended up getting my own place again. So I've been by myself for 3 or 4 years. Like it's been like me living alone for 3 or 4 years on my own. And I always be close with my parents, go visit them, help them, talk to them. But then now I got my own like money, I got my own way, I got my own, stuff going on, the business, whatever. And that's where I'm at right now. It's like tarot started 3 years ago, but I started going to psychics when I was like 18. When I was 18, me and my homegirl went to a psychic, and that was the first ever experience of like wanting to get her palm read. And the psychic was like reading us, and she got deeper with me than the other girl, my friend, and it was like I got deep into it, and that's when I started really buying into it, investing into it for a very long time, and like I got the hang of it, and I was like, dang, I could do this. I think I have this gift, so that was when I started exploring the gift of psychiatry, of like psychology, of like using your intuition, of feeling things. And like then I started getting into the metaphysical stuff because I was into church. A lot of people don't know this, but I was a church girl too. Like I was to the point where like I was going to church, trying to find God, learn about Christianity. And then I was an usher at a church. I used to go to Bible study. Like I just wanted to know knowledge. I just wanted to learn knowledge. So basically took that whole journey by myself, like did that all for like years and years, and then figured some things out for myself. And that's when I was like, I'm into the whole metaphysical, spiritual aspect of life. I want to learn about that. And that's when I started going, towards tarot and towards like intuition and like, and then one day I had told somebody like, you should start a YouTube, and they were like, maybe you should start a YouTube. And then that's when I started a YouTube. So that's why I'm here. But a lot of people don't know my journey, and now it's like graduate, and I can do whatever I want, and no kids yet, and I have my boyfriend from when I was like younger, and like we're starting something new, and I still look like a child. Literally, I'm so happy. I don't have to get no makeover, no facelift. And I still have time to figure out like what I really want to do throughout my 30s. I'm not going to waste my 30s, like, you know, and then plan for my 40s, my 50s, my 60s, my 70s, my 80s, my 90s, because it's coming, right? Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, long story short, I hope this helped you. This was informative. It kind of teaches you guys how to like think about your own self, think about your own life, your timeline. You know, like I'm affiliated with professors, like I'm affiliated with a lot of different people, clients, customers, adults, children. I have nieces and nephews, I have brothers and sisters, but I'm very independent. Very independent. Like everybody's grown, everybody has their own life, everybody has their own families now, their own places, you know, their own job, their own money. So nobody's really struggling or struggling or any of that in my life. Like around me, everybody's on the up and up doing something. So me too, like I'm always like energetic bunny, you know. But like the whole thing I'm trying to say is like be in your own world. I mean, you know. And I'm kind of like, I'm not an over achiever. Like I believe in like doing what's meant for you. Like go after what you can do. Don't try to force something like you don't really want. Manifestation, like I was thinking about manifestation yesterday. Like I just want to do a few photo shoots to put a few portraits on my wall of manifestations that I want to manifest. It's going to be pictures of me and like certain visuals of like things I want to dream about or think about daily, and I want to put them up on my wall. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Some photo shoots, modeling. So that's why I'm going to the gym. Now, I don't be hurting myself at the gym, so we're not gonna manifest that. But yeah, if I'm not at the gym, I'm working, you know. Tarot, but I also have like 3 other things I'm doing at the same time. And then there's another thing I have to go figure out, which is like becoming a substitute teacher. So if you want to become a substitute teacher, you have to have a degree. If you don't have a degree, you have to go take the test. So I have a degree, so I have to go figure out how I can send my degree information in, my transcript information, and then apply myself. And then I gotta go talk to like some school people to see like about this checklist. So that's a 5th income. So YouTube's an income, passive income, but it is a little labor. Substitute teacher would be another income, and then I have 2 other incomes. And then I'm looking into housing, like buying property. I have to go like figure out this class. And then there's stocks. So I have another income, stocks, but stocks is taxed too. All this stuff is taxed. So it's like a lot on my plate right now. Enough. But there's like, it's always opportunity to grow, modeling as well, and then starting my own business. That's another income. I have my own business already. It's always been open for 10 years. I still have it. So that's another income, you know. So it's like all this stuff you can do with your time, but you cannot go backwards. You have to go forward. All right, guys, it's a little bit about me. That's why I don't have no time to be, you know. All right, guys, bye.